Bleeding Purple Podcast. Deep block, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay on. Oh my God! 40, no tag. Are you kidding me? It's the Minneapolis. No way! Stephon Diggs in the middle of the Vikings. On the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. Hello, good sir. How are you?
Oh, hello. Football's getting closer.
Oh, God, is it ever? We're so close. Training camp, rookies report, July 25th. I'm so excited. That's not that far from now.
And then, everyone will get excited about the preseason for the first 5 minutes, then they'll be like, when's the regular season?
I can't wait for the,
Everyone to critique Kirk Cousins and
Yeah. I can't wait for the point where there are legitimately people asking for, who is there even their backup? Is it Simeon now?
Yeah.
Yeah, for him to play.
And Slaughter.
Yeah. Oh, it's Slaughter. I
Don't
don't want to
those
get
people
started.
out
Oh,
there.
I'm not doing that this week.
Yeah.
Sorry about that last week. I was tapping the pen a lot. I'm not going to do that this week.
Well, like a week and a half ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. It's been a little while.
Took the
Since
holiday off.
Yes, and happy 4th to you, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
All your digits, good work.
Yeah.
No,
I stayed away from that.
that's good. That's good. Me too. It's safer that way. So since we last talked, the last time we discussed this stuff, Hunter had just signed. We now know what the cap hits are. We were saying the last time we spoke that you got to wait, see what the cap hits are per year.
Always
Wait. 2018, 5.0 something million is his cap hit.
Still got a lot of money to spend.
A lot of money. Don't freak out until you hear what the yearly cap hit is, guys.
I think they have
Come on.
their cap now is around $14 million, and I think people are saying with when they sign once they sign Mike Hughes, it'll be around $12 million.
Okay.
So that's more than enough cap space to sign Diggs and possibly Barr to an extension.
Speaking of those two, do you think that we are...
Wait. I think we're the first people that are going to be talking about these two because no one has talked about them.
Nobody's broken this down. Yeah, so settle in, everybody. We're going to talk about contract extensions for Diggs and Barr. Do you think it's been brought up too much? Do you think we're maybe making too big of a deal out of this?
It's the off season, so there isn't a whole lot to talk about. So no,
and this also
it's a good discussion because you can take either side.
Yeah,
and then you can figure out kind of like how much it'll cost for either, or if you want one to take the franchise tag next year, how much that'll cost and stuff like that. So it's good. It's a good discussion to have.
And it's the perfect Vikings fan talker because it's so easy to get the fear of, but they might leave, but they might not want to be here, and they'll leave. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think that Barr is on his way out, the way some people are talking? It wouldn't shock me if he expects too much money and seeks that money elsewhere.
No, you could say the same thing for Diggs though too, because he's a receiver and he sees somebody like Jarvis Landry getting around $40 million guaranteed, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm better than him, so I deserve more than him."
Yeah.
But with Barr, I think he has the same agency as Kyle Rudolph, Harrison Smith, and Everson Griffin, so he's got that going for him. But I don't know. I still think Diggs is the priority over Barr because the Vikings are trying to see if Barr can go back to being a pass rushing specialist that he was more in college.
Yeah.
And if he can't do that, then I don't really think he's worth as much as he might think he's worth keeping he's not worth like $15 million a year.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't necessarily think that they don't want to pay him, but I think he thinks he's worth a lot more money than the Vikings think.
He's really worth pretty much the same as Eric Kendricks. They've pretty much done the same, production wise. Kendricks might have a little more tackles.
Yeah,
he's more of a middle linebacker type, but they just do the same thing, but just on different sides of the field, pretty much.
Do you think that because of, I hate this term, but the splash plays that Anthony Barr had as a rookie, do you think that kind of sways the way people think about him now? Because if you take a step back and look at his full resume, like the coaches questioned his work ethic. He was either playing poorly or playing injured and did not look very good. He's not had a lot of those splash plays like since that rookie season. Like they're trying to move his position now. Like there's a lot of things that don't look like big time money player.
Yeah, and he's still wearing some sort of a cast on his left hand.
Yeah,
he's wearing that for like the past 2.5 years. So something's going on there that nobody really knows about outside of the locker room.
Yeah.
In the beginning, his splash plays gave him like an edge over somebody else, like an Eric Kendricks. But in his past couple of years, Kendricks has made a bunch of those plays. He's had a pick six. He's had 2 pick sixes in the last 2 years, and he can sack the quarterback and cause fumbles and stuff. So I really don't see why Barr deserves more money than Kendricks, to be honest.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that at all. I think that the most encouraging part of this entire offseason to me is that when you look at how they're signing guys to these extensions and the way they're working their roster, it's like the pecking order seems right to me. Like it makes sense to sign Hunter now. It makes sense to give Thielen big money early because you can see that he's going to be a really, really good player for a number. Like they're doing these things in a smart order, and I feel like there's a reason Barr is the last one on the list. I feel like Diggs is going to get money before Barr is going to get money.
I hope so. And I think linebacker is probably like the least important position group of the 4 on defense.
That's exactly it too.
For the Vikings, especially because I think the 3 others, you might put safety at first because of Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
And I would even say defensive line second, and then cornerbacks third, because cornerbacks rely on the defensive line and do, cause pressure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, linebackers would be fourth with no matter what order you put everyone else in front of them. I just think they're the least important. Not to say that they aren't important, but of those 4, they can definitely afford to lose somebody.
Lose one, yes. If you had to lose one from one level or one position, that would be the one you would choose, and it wouldn't even be that difficult of a decision, I don't think.
Yeah, because if you took Harrison Smith out, that defense is
very, very different.
Even if you took Xavier Rhodes out.
Yes, very, very different.
Everson Griffin.
Yes. But then you take Barr out for a couple of games and you think, we could probably get through that. Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of injury stuff, I saw a tweet that was comparing Diggs to Julio Jones, and that the
Julio
injury
Jones,
concerns.
He's missed more games.
Yeah, has missed more games than Diggs. But Diggs also has not finished a full season ever in his career.
Yeah, but that injury thing, I feel like people blow that out of proportion. Yeah, he's missed 2 games every year, but
so does everybody.
Pretty much every.
It's the NFL, man. That's
playing 16 games is very rare.
Yes.
For a non-quarterback, even quarterbacks to do. It's brutal out there. These are 300-pound dudes running full speed and
they're faster than most of the guys you've played your whole life. These are the fastest of the fast.
If you don't miss a game in the season, that's impressive. Teams should expect. That's why I feel like the Vikings focused. Not that they had a whole lot of holes in the starting lineup, but they focused more on improving their depth this year, in case somebody gets hurt.
Do you think that depth is going to be an issue on this team? That's one of my bigger fears going into 2018 is that they're just not going to have enough depth to.
I don't think it'll be
injuries
as big of an issue as it could have been like maybe even 2 years ago. Like if you had Diggs go down, even though he was a rookie, like you have Mike Wallace and then a young Adam Thielen who hasn't fully
who's on
blossomed yet.
He's on punt return at that point.
Yeah, and like just it's a lot better now. You look at positions like cornerback,
definitely cornerback is looking pretty decent.
5 or 6 deep. I was on like a podcast or something the other day, and we were talking about the receivers for the Vikings, and they're pretty deep at receiver too. You know, if you look at Jarius Wright and Treadwell, you know, Treadwell might be able to actually do some stuff with Cousins this year. And you got guys like unknowns like Brandon Zylstra, who's getting a lot of praise. Caleb Jones, even though he's suspended for the first 4 games. Some of the undrafted free agents like Jeff Badette and Weineke or whatever his name is, and even Chad Beebe. You know, they've got it's going to be interesting to see those last couple of receiver spots shake out in training camp. It'll be one of the more interesting battles, I guess you could say, for training camp.
For sure. Do you think, like, say, at linebackers specifically, if they lose a Kendricks for a long period of time, or if they lose Barr for a long period of time, do you think they can survive that, or do you think they would be okay?
I think that should be fine. I think they've got, like, Gideon's a little underrated.
Yeah.
He's probably better than his role right now at the Vikings.
Yeah, definitely better than his role last year would lead you to believe.
They signed somebody, I think he used to play for the Chiefs. I can't remember his name right now, but he was like a small, like under-the-radar free agent signing the Vikings had this year. And then they've got a couple guys like Eric Wilson, who was pretty good on special teams last year, linebacker-wise. So no, I wouldn't think their defense was. I really wouldn't think their defense was that much worse if they had to miss one of those guys in a game or two.
And I'm guilty of this, and I feel like a lot of people are, where you use what you've seen from last year to not project where they're going to be, but you use that as what is going to be for 2018. So, like, in my brain, to put Gideon there is crazy because he was never on the field and he was a rookie. Well, he's not going to be a rookie this year. He's got a year of experience. He's going to be – I mean, there's progression there. And that, you could say that for offensive line, too, some of the younger dudes, or maybe not younger, but less experienced like guys on the offensive line.
And Rashad Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah, Hill was the one I was thinking of for sure. I don't know. I can definitely freak myself out, like, thinking.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a Vikings fan.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I forget about progression. Hopefully they all progress, and they're very, very good.
I mean, you can just look at, to make yourself feel better, you can just look at Adam Thielen.
Yeah. That was good progression.
Back to squad, to special teams, to starting half the year, to full-time starter, Pro Bowl, second team All-Pro. So he's done pretty well.
He's done pretty well for himself. What else do we want to talk about with this extension? I think that's it. Are you good talking about extensions for Barr and Diggs?
Until one of them signs, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
This horse has been beaten.
I think you're right. Speaking of...
dead horse.
Speaking of beating...
I'm not advocating
it's not that kind of show.
Being beaten, yeah.
Speaking of beating a dead horse, PhillyVoice.com calls Vikings fans sharp and soft. Because they won a Super Bowl, but still are so focused on the fans of their NFC Championship.
Yeah, those soft Vikings fans in the hospital.
I just don't get it. I don't understand what is your preoccupation with Vikings fans? Why are we still talking about it?
It's a trashy city.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Not going to beat any bushes. It's a trashy city. And they're proud of their trash. So they like to,
there does seem to be a lot of like rah for the bad fan behavior. I've been noticing over the last how long have we been doing this? It's like 7 months we've been talking about it.
That's who we are.
It's ridiculous.
And we like it. That doesn't mean it's good or that it's you should be proud of it. But there's people who I know Eagles fans that are like, yeah, those people are dumb. But then there's guys who write stuff. I think
Well, and there's Vikings fans that are dumb in that same way, but it's like I just don't see. Well, like why is PhillyVoice.com have to be that?
Well, they did like a series of articles that was like for each NFC East team. They even did it for the Eagles of like 10 reasons why the Giants would be a dumpster fire in 2018. And the only other team outside of the NFC East that they did was the Vikings because the writer thought he was hilarious and wanted to, keep
the joke going, keep the bit rolling, man.
Because it does generate clicks, probably.
It does. And that's what I was going to say too. Is it's the off season, and maybe what we're seeing here is just a really smart, really smart.
One of the Vikings, but Vikings fans don't eat poop after they win the Super Bowl either.
The factual information. Well, see, and it also feels it's like low hanging fruit. It feels like it's like you're picking on the sad kid. Like we already know that we lost and that we lose a lot. Does that make us soft? I don't know. But for them to...
I don't think so, because I think Vikings fans are over that game.
Already. That's what I'm saying.
I think like a month later they were over it. That's
exactly right. You don't even that's not even on the top 5 worst things that have happened to this franchise. Dude, get out of here with that. Not even in the top 10. Like, I could list 10 right now that affected me more deeply
41
than that.
Nothing.
Yeah, than like... So, I don't know.
It lost on a Hail Mary, like a push-off in 1975.
I just don't get why they're doing this.
It's just because they have their glory now, and they know it's not going to be there forever, so might as well use it.
Yeah, you gotta strike while the iron's hot.
I mean, every time it's written about the stuff that that Vikings fans are actually complaining about isn't ever mentioned. Like they're always like, "Oh, they're so soft because they're complaining about how they lost, and it's not fair that they didn't get to play in their own stadium." But no, it's actually people complaining about Eagles fans throwing beers at them.
Yeah, full beers and
berating Pat Elflein's mom in the stands after her son broke his ankle. Getting sucker punched and sent to the hospital in the parking lot.
That ain't cool, man. None of that.
But don't talk about that.
No,
just use whatever you want to fit your narrative.
It's just we can't. These Vikings fans just can't take a ribbon. We're busting balls, man. That's all we're doing is busting balls.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Moving on. Pearcy Harvin recently revealed that he had anxiety issues. Anxiety issues are not funny, but I did read the headline to that article and was like, oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised by that.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
But it's not, at the same time, he said he doesn't want it to be an excuse for any of his behavior, but it's something that he realized after he got into the league. I think he said 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he said that the Vikings were the team that was the most understanding and able to work with him the best during his career. So it's not surprising that he stayed there the longest.
For sure. And again, that's not to not making light of the anxiety situation. I just thought that because it and I feel bad for a guy who's got all of this, he's got all this talent and, a bunch of people wondering why he can't put it all together. And he's going through a war in his head,
You could have all the talent in the world, all the money in the world.
It doesn't matter if you can't get outside. It doesn't
matter if you're depressed or you have severe anxiety.
100%.
Really, it doesn't matter.
100%.
Look at all the recent people that have, the celebrities that committed suicide and they were millionaires and famous and stuff like that. It doesn't matter.
No, that kind of stuff is not that. Yeah, that doesn't.
But I'm happy to see that he's talking about it because I think it helps other people that are dealing with it to be like, hey, this dude dealt with it and he's been able to, pick himself up. Still struggles with it sometimes.
Kevin Love in the NBA was another one too who's doing that. I think this is very important to not only to make these athletes, because we do pedestalize and they are millionaires and blah 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 blah. So it's easy to put a wall up. Yeah, but they're people, they're humans. They go through that same stuff. They get weird, It's sometimes they're depressed and they can't do that happens. It's important as fans of sports to keep that in mind. Everybody poops. Some people just don't like hot dogs. It's different. I don't get it.
I think it's more, not that it's more common today among not only athletes but everyone else. I think it's just more talked about. People aren't as afraid to talk about it like
Yeah.
maybe in like the 80s or the 70s. People were like, oh, don't talk about your feelings.
Well, think about this. Think about how many incredible world-class athletes we didn't get the opportunity to see because of their crippling anxiety that they could not talk about because we weren't at a point as coaches, as staff, as whatever, to be able to acknowledge that as a legitimate reason to, have to work with somebody or work through something or
Just
whatever.
walk it off.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's totally it.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Take a shower.
Yeah. What do you? Well, yeah. Well, you're sad. Well, go
Or
to a movie and cheer up. It's unbelievable.
Bud Grant likes to say, "Take a walk." That's what he likes.
I actually had that in so a little bit of a story for you. When I was in high school, had a very serious episode regarding those types of anxiety, depression things. And I actually got asked by one of my teammates on the bus going home. He's like, well, why don't you just stop being bummed out? Like, why don't you just stop? And it was, I didn't get mad or anything, but I was just like, God, he's got fixed it. You're welcome. It's like, God, he's never dealt with it. Has no idea what it's like to be stuck in that space. Oh, you should just flip a switch and feel better.
I still deal with stuff like that, and it's been a battle for the past 5 or 6 years. And I've tried to it's gotten better, and then there's times where I'm like, damn, I have to buckle down and actually work to deal with it.
To get through it, yeah, exactly.
But you surround yourself and you figure out who's best to be around you in your life, and you got to figure out what makes you happiest. Even if just because you're making tons of money doing something doesn't mean that you're happy. You just got to figure out what's best for you. So, you got to be selfish sometimes. And I think it's good that Pearcy Harvin was able to get some help.
Yeah,
I liked him as a player a lot, even though he was caused a little bit of trouble. But I think he's mentoring some kids at University of Florida now.
That's awesome.
So I'm in full circle.
Yeah. And he always seemed like a good dude, when in interviews and whatever, he seemed like a good guy, but just, couldn't, had those stretches where he couldn't put it together and couldn't get on the field. You could tell something was amiss about him.
I kind of feel similar thinking about maybe Randy Moss, during the early part of his career, if some of that stuff was going on too.
I remember, I'll never forget the interview Randy Moss did on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys when he just killed it. And he had a hat on, a Thanksgiving hat that they gave him after the game. And he stood like this at the camera with his bill in front of that. And I remember vividly being I probably would have done that as well had I been, and put anxiety and was I can't do this. Also, another one, Ricky Williams with the helmet on during the interviews, that stuff happens. It's there. Ricky Williams is maybe one of the best examples of a misunderstood. That dude had a lot going on, and the NFL was not ready for.
No, I think it's good that Pearcy Harvin came out now, but I don't think any player in the NFL has come out yet as being dealing with depression or anxiety while they were still in the league.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think so.
Still unfortunately far away from somebody taking that step. Because I think maybe some people are too afraid to have that spotlight
for sure
on them and take away from maybe the team or whatever. But there's some guys out there that I could see dealing with that
for sure. And we still, although we've come a long ways as far as the football culture is concerned, that still is that's still a no for a football player to give an excuse like that,
a manly man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's still, like you said, we're still a pretty long ways away from how good it could be.
It'll get there.
Yeah, I think so too. What else? Supplemental draft, July 11th. I don't know much about this, but I do know that there's a dude from the Western school Michigan. From Michigan, that PJ Fleck was at. Western Michigan?
There's a big difference between Michigan
PJ Fleck, the Gophers coach, Used
Yeah,
to
he
be
recruited him.
yes, he was that guy. So I don't know. I wanted to ask you, is that why I know about him, or is this dude actually that good in the supplemental draft?
That's
where
probably
he could
why
be like a player?
you know about him, but he's I think his name's Sam Beal, and he's probably the top prospect available in the supplemental draft this year. There's only 4 of them. And the Vikings did go to watch his pro day workout or whatever.
Okay.
I think every team actually went to his workout, so they're just included in that bunch. But yeah, PJ Fleck recruited him obviously when he was at Western Michigan. That's where PJ Fleck's from, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. About
because Central Michigan is like
yeah, it's not Central.
Tyler Conklin.
Yeah, Conklin.
The
Yeah,
tight end. That's where he came from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's all these Michigans.
I know. See, that's when you start getting directional. It's like you got 4 Division I schools, and it's Western Central.
Kirk Cousins went to Michigan State.
Come on. It's too many Michigan.
But no, yeah, he's good. He's supposedly he might be like the highest supplemental draft pick since Josh Gordon in 2013. I think he was a 2nd round. You know how a supplemental draft works?
No idea.
Like, okay, so you have all your picks for next year.
Yeah.
Each team does, and then the order, your orders, whatever it was this year, I think. So it remains the same, and then when it's your turn, like it'll go 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, you'll be able to bid one of your next season picks on the player when it like comes to your turn. So like if you want to bid a 2019 2nd round pick, and then you can bid it, and then you see if a team either higher
it's a
than
silent
you,
auction for football players.
Yeah, pretty much either higher than you in the draft order bids that same like round, and then they're going to get that player over you. But I think the Vikings are projected to have 2 3rd round picks next year because one's compensatory.
Okay.
So
they might throw a 3rd rounder at him?
There's a potential that they might do that because we know Mike Zimmer loves his defensive backs, and they might have got some, good intel maybe from PJ Fleck.
Right down the street.
But I don't think the Vikings will use any of their picks this year on a supplemental draft pick. The last time they did was, I think, 1987 or 8 on a wide receiver.
So it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. I think the last player
you said there were
picked,
4.
Yeah, there's 4 guys eligible.
Okay.
Just because that doesn't mean they're going to get picked.
Yeah.
Because I think the last player to get picked in a supplemental draft was like 2015.
Wow.
So
I am going to pay way more attention to the silent auction football draft.
Yeah. No, it's interesting this year because there's that one kid that people are talking about.
Do you know what makes the player eligible for the supplemental as opposed to the original?
It's because they weren't able to. It's because usually they find out after, the date that they have to put in the paperwork for the draft.
That they won't be eligible to play.
Yeah, that they won't be eligible to play in college the next year, like for academic reasons or any other reasons. So they have to fill out the paperwork later, and so that's when the supplemental draft comes in, and it has to be like approved and stuff like that. So.
Dude, the more you know. Thank you for the supplemental draft
I've had to look all this stuff up the past couple of weeks just to understand it myself. Because I'm like, how does this work?
Dude, that's great. That's great info. I had no idea.
Because the Vikings are never really into it, so I never really had to pay attention.
Exactly right.
It's a fun little thing of the off season to keep people busy and talking and stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's awesome. All right. Done with supplemental draft. What else do we have? Oh,
Chris Carter came from the supplemental draft, by the way.
Who did?
Chris Carter.
Really?
The Eagles. That's how he got to the Eagles.
Whoa.
So he had some problems at Ohio
State. That guy, he had some problems, and then the fall guy thing though makes me think he didn't. That makes me think he didn't. That makes me think he just had a fall guy the whole time. And that guy went to jail, and Chris Carter just went home. I don't know that.
Star athletes are known to get a little bit of leeway.
Yeah. especially Chris Carter, who was catching
A lot
of
easier to
passes
keep things under wrap, though, in the 80s than it is now.
Very good call. Yeah, not a lot of very few bloggers in the 80s. What else do we want to do? Oh, the coaches in the other league. I can't remember the name of the league.
Alliance American Football.
Alliance American.
There's a lot of Vikings connections in there. I think Jared Allen's an investor.
Brad Childress is a coach,
Childress
correct?
is a coach. I don't know who's he's the coach for. Birmingham, maybe?
Birmingham.
And then, Michael Singletary is a coach, too, because he was an assistant coach under Leslie Frazier. That's his connection to the Vikings.
Right.
Famously.
Yeah. That was No, that was post 49ers, wasn't it? When he was the head coach in San Francisco? Yeah.
Yes. It was, can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't work with him. Can't play him. Won't do it.
Vernon Davis.
My favorite. Yeah, it was. Who wound up being like a really team-oriented good player.
He's still in the league.
I heard, I think it was like in an on-game thing. That was the best thing. He said that was the best thing that could have happened to him. Was Singletary reaming him out
sometimes you need a little kick in the pants.
Yeah.
Childress is the coach for the Atlanta team, and Singletary is the coach for the Memphis team.
Childress is in Miami?
Atlanta.
Singletary
is in Memphis.
Where did Miami come from?
I think, the season kicks off in February. There's a team in San Diego.
Really? You gonna go to some games?
I don't know. Maybe. Mike Martz is the head coach, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. It seems like they're getting good. Well, I shouldn't say good, but I don't know. Maybe this is a really smart idea.
Getting notable people that probably can help these guys, figure out what they need to do to get to the NFL with all these coaches that have been there before.
Yeah, that's true. And if you're looking for a different product that is more of a throwback, I mean, what better place to go than the league that has all of the dinosaurs who've been pushed out of NFL coaching jobs?
Well, because I think this league knows that it's not going to be the NFL, and it's probably more going to be like a developmental league of anything, so they're trying to, set it up as good as they can.
Absolutely. To think that you can compete with the NFL is outrageous. So dumb.
Yeah.
Ask Donald Trump how that goes.
Yeah, or the XFL.
When does that start, the new XFL?
Not for a while.
Because they don't even have a name for it yet, do they? It's still just the league that used to be the XFL or whatever.
I don't know if they're changing names.
The artist formerly known. That's what I heard, was that it's not going to be the XFL. I don't think it has a name yet, but I don't think they're going to call it the XFL again.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I think
because it kind of already has a familiarity, I guess.
Yeah, but I think that might be part of the problem because
maybe they want to separate themselves from
it. Because I think they don't want it to be, because the thing about the XFL was like half naked cheerleaders and hardcore no hitting the head, head penalties and no roughing the quarterback.
I don't know if they wear.
Doing.
I don't know if the cheerleaders wear any less clothing than the ones that do now, but
that's a fair
the players could date the cheerleaders.
And that is important because you can't talk to or date cheerleaders when you're in the NFL.
You can't even. There's been some cases where if an NFL cheerleader is in the same restaurant as an NFL player, they have to leave.
That's outrageous. Dude, not that we need to go way deep into it because I'm not sure how many people are super interested, but those NFL cheerleaders are not really getting a great deal with their job. The more I read about what they're going through, that's outrageous.
Mascots get paid more than
them.
If you ask me, I don't know why there's cheerleaders.
I think they're very unnecessary. However,
I'm actually going to praise the Packers and say that the NFL should do what the Packers do and have high school cheerleaders for every game. If they really want cheerleaders, just have different high schools and their squads come for every week and do that.
First of all, on this podcast, we never say stuff like that.
All right.
I'm not going to repeat it because,
but you can bleep it out.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. No, I think
I'm going to bleep the Packers.
I thing, and then high school cheerleaders after that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think cheerleaders don't make a lot of sense because realistically, how many people do you think are watching the cheerleaders?
Do you go there to watch the cheerleaders?
Honest to God, and I like you don't even notice when they're out there. It's like 3-4 times a game they do a little end zone
when
thing,
they shoot
and
like
that's all.
T-shirts into the stands.
Oh yeah, good call.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, maybe we should just invest in more T-shirt guns. That's a really mean thing to say about cheerleaders in their profession, so I apologize for that. But I really like T-shirt guns.
I appreciate their skills or whatever. I just don't see any purpose for them.
Well, and especially if they're getting treated like this, it's like, let's just be done with it.
Treating them like trash.
Yeah. It doesn't sound, it just seems like something that we could do without. And especially with, not that it's like, I'm not saying it's like necessarily degrading or anything like that, but man, there's got to be like...
I'm sure people will respond to this, but like, oh, you guys are stupid liberals and just Me Too and all this stupid
yeah. Is this podcast left AF? Is that what we are? Are we libs?
I'm not anything. So
yeah, no labels. Thank you. That's a good point. That's what we are.
Yeah.
We're nothing.
I just
no labels.
I feel what I feel. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the clip right there. I feel what I feel. That's the title of the episode. Boom.
Don't like it.
In there.
You don't like it. Take a walk.
Get out. If you don't like it, you can get out. Okay, let's play a game. It's like a rip-off of every game that's on the radio, sports talk radio. The over-under bit. We're going to do that right now.
Over. Or. Under.
Adam. Over-under. The Vikings, 10.5 wins during the regular season.
We're doing halves?
Halves, man. Well, you got to make a choice. You can't. Do you want to do 11 wins or 10 or under? You can't do because it's, I don't know, 11.5.
I would say over.
It feels more like betting that way.
I'll say over, but I think it will be like 11 or 12. I don't think they're going to win 13 again.
I don't think so.
Especially having a first place schedule. The NFC is just looks like it's going to be a bloodbath. But 11 or 12, I can see that happening.
I'm going to go under.
I'd probably say, oh, really?
Under. Under at 10 wins. I think you're right with the first place schedule. I don't think they're going to win as many games, and I feel like we're going to have to hear a lot of talk about how they should have kept Keenum because Keenum won 13 games. And Kirk Cousins only won 10.
See how many games he wins in Denver. See how good he is.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be the worst? If Teddy goes on like a 5-game winning streak to start the season in New York and Keenum goes on a 5-game winning streak.
That would not surprise me.
It's totally plauple.
I'm talking about Teddy. I'm not talking about Keenum. I would not be surprised if Teddy was a starter and the Jets got off to
I think Keenum in that mile high, I think he's going to throw the ball all over the field. I don't believe that.
Yeah, but who's he throwing to? I guess he has Demaryius Thomas at the end of his career and Emmanuel Sanders at the end of his career.
He doesn't even have to pick. He's got John Elway. He'll just look to John Elway, and John Elway will be like that one. And then he'll throw
Keenum's their guy, even though they tried to draft and sign everybody else. Keenum's their guy.
And then said the guy's name wrong.
Ken Keenum or something?
Oh, God. If that's not the worst way to start, like, oh God, we should.
He's our guy. Case Keenum. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Speaking of Case Keenum, or rather the guy who replaced him.
Oh, you're gonna do? Oh, I was gonna do it next.
Oh, you go now. Yeah, you go. You
go. 10 sacks for Danielle Hunter.
I'm going to say under because it's safe. But I feel like he's going to have a big season. Yeah, a really big season.
I'm going to go over. Just because I think Sheldon Richardson being there.
That's what they're not going to be able to block the same.
Can't double team.
No.
Really
anybody on that line. Yeah.
So.
Side question. Do you think Hunter or Griffin will have more sacks at the end of the season?
Danielle Hunter.
I'm going Griffin. He's my guy. Griff's my guy. He was hurt last year.
He's
firing on all cylinders this year.
Getting that old
older
foot rage. Got knee issues now. He's still a beast.
Yeah,
obviously.
he is. What did you think? What was his
he's probably
ranking?
got 19.
I
think he's still got probably 1 or 2 more solid years.
Yeah.
He'd probably get like at least 10 sacks in each of the next 2 years.
Mm.
But I think, we're creeping up. I think Deshaun Bauer is going to be might see a little more playing time this year.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he does. He did really good in the preseason last year. So see how that goes.
What was next? Over under 30 touchdowns for Kirk Cousins.
I wrote about this in the Viking Age, so I might have a little more advantage about this topic than you, but I'm going to go under just because of what Mike Zimmer, how he likes to run a team, like with the offense controlling the clock, with the run game, and winning with his defense.
Essentially, he's not going to have an opportunity to throw 30 touchdowns because they're going to run the ball.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, at the end of the day,
that makes sense.
If they're on the 2-yard line, they're going to run the ball. But I don't know. It could be different with DiFilippo in there. I feel like Zimmer's come around more to, opening up the offense in the past couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. It seemed like the first couple he was so concerned that the offense not lose the game that it was like they were kind of their hands were tied because they.
They also had Adrian Peterson. He's not really
good call.
That versatile outside of running the ball.
No.
So.
No, he's not. Do you see how badly he wants to play for the Texans?
Oh, God.
Poor guy.
Give it up.
Poor guy.
I saw Collar just wrote about him.
Did he?
So I was actually just listening to the Purple podcast, and it was Collar talking to Darren Wolfson. He asked him about Adrian Peterson, like, will he have a job this year? Wolfson said yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Collar said no, and I think it's going to be no.
It's so hard to imagine somebody picking him to hop on late in the process, because at this point he's not getting a deal for training camp. He's going to be like a late addition, like an injury addition, and it's just so hard to believe that there's going to be a team that will look and be like, yeah, that's the guy that we're going to.
If for some reason Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt, like in training camp or the preseason, I could see the Cowboys signing him because he's Dallas. That'll sell tickets.
And if he goes there, he's going to do well.
They have a big offensive line. They don't really have to worry about Peterson, making all the holes and everything. So that could be a sneaky destination.
Yeah, that's really good. Dallas makes a lot of sense.
But that's only if Elliott gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten hurt ever really bad during his football career. So there's no reason to think that now.
Okay, your turn.
We'll do Stephon Diggs over under 1,000 yards.
I'm gonna say over because I think it made him jealous to watch Adam Thielen get there last year, and he wants it bad. I don't know. That's a lot, and especially if you kind of go through. I mean, it's been a long time since they had a 1,000-yard receiving season. So, I don't know. I don't want to say unlikely, but I'm going to say under.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Are you breaking up? Hello?
There?
I'm here. Are you here?
You good?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Good podcast.
Hello?
Yeah. All right. Pretty good. I'll go under for Diggs. I just think Kirk Cousins is known for spreading the ball around in his career. So just focusing on Thielen and Diggs doesn't really seem like something he's going to do next year. I think Kyle Rudolph's probably going to actually have a real good year, and Dalvin Cook will catch a lot of passes too. Mm-hmm. So that would be why under. I think Diggs will probably still make a lot of plays and catch a lot of touchdowns and stuff like that.
Still be one of the most important players on offense, but
if he got 1,000 yards, I wouldn't be surprised. But if I was betting money on it, I would say under.
I completely agree. How about over under 1,000 yards for 1,000 yards rushing for Dalvin Cook? That was hard for me to say.
1,000. We'll go over.
Over?
Over, yeah.
You crazy? No, I think it's gonna be over too. I think he's just too good. And what we saw from the first 4 games, man, if he can look like that, he'll definitely be over 1,000.
Yeah, because they might ease him in a little bit earlier during the year just because Latavius Murray's healthy and he's coming off of ACL. But like Zimmer said, he's going to go back to a similar role that he had last year. So he's going to get the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And last time DeFilippo was an offensive coordinator, I think he had with the Browns in like 2015, Duke Johnson caught like 60 some odd passes. So.
Whoa. So, yeah, I'll probably be involved there.
I got one last over-under for you. Over-under 4 times Mike Zimmer gives a one-word answer to Chris Thomason.
Oh, God.
In the 28th season.
Over in training camp. Over in training camp. Second preseason game, he's over. Oh, thank God for Chris Thomason, man.
He works hard.
He does. And I like his stuff. And I love that he's the guy that is not afraid to ask those questions.
Yeah. There has to be some guy out there that the coach isn't always going to like. But they still keep letting him in the media.
They still do. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. My last one is not really very good. So, all right, fine, we'll try it. Over under total defense number 2. Do you think they will be the best defense in the NFL, or do you think they will be lower than the best defense in the NFL?
Top 5.
Top 5.
So, I guess I go under.
I'm going to go under too. Same thing. Top 5 for sure, but I don't know if they're going to be first.
The schedule's hard.
For real. I think
I think it's the 5th easiest supposedly or whatever. Somebody said recently I read.
What? Really?
The fifth, yeah, but
interesting.
But they have to play like the 49ers, the Cardinals, who I think are kind of a chance.
Yeah. So they're because they're taking okay. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. The
Eagles, the Falcons. They got a bunch of tough games. The Lions that they never beat recently at home. The Packers. Even the Bears could be sneaky too.
Yes, so. I agree completely. I think that it's.
The Patriots.
Going to be a difficult game.
On the road.
Usually is difficult there to win.
Yeah,
man. I think it wouldn't shock me if they. I don't know. 10 just feels like the right number for the Vikings because I just don't see them getting more than that, and I think they're going to be a playoff team. So you got to win. No,
if they get, 10. I think getting in the playoffs is more important than anything this year for the Vikings. I don't think, getting a number 1 seed and all that stuff is cool, but...
Yeah. All right, well, Skull, I'll talk to you next week. Good, sir.
Have fun editing this.
I will.
I'll talk to you later.
Later, bud.